Hey, everybody. So there was something that I actually was thinking about. Pardon. I have noticed now with it becoming a meme. Apparently, I was just about to do the search for. Apparently, there's now music videos and mashup music videos of Richard Spencer, getting the Charlie Murphy, pow, going on, and that's what hit me was Charlie Murphy, pow, but Richard Spencer, pow, and uh, which I don't know. Violence sucks and it's evil, like Bernard Chapin said. And Bernard Chapin, let's bring this up. He would be what's in the red pill world. He would be in the manosphere. People might say he's alt right, but it wouldn't really make that much sense. People would listen to him, they'd be like, well, I mean, he's not really what I would expect when I've listened to these other scary people like Richard Spencer, um, who's scary, he's, I just think about it, why these people are so frightened of Richard Spencer. That's the part that gets me is where nobody ever mentions Jack Donovan. Okay, yeah, nobody ever mentions Jack Donovan. Nobody ever mentions the red pill. They want to talk about alt right. They want to talk about these white men. They want to talk about this. They want to talk. But you don't hear about the red pill. And I think this is you. It comes up, but it's not used as like this reference, this catch-all reference, because I think really that does hit a little close to home. These people believe that Hollywood is the culture, as Hollywood told us in that one press release. These Hollywood is resisting Trump, and that this spokesperson was saying they are the culture, or they're um, it's not that they tell the tales of the culture. It's not that they sing the songs of the culture. No, they invent the culture. Rosie O'Donnell is a culture creator. And so I was thinking about like, no, the red pill, the thing that has happened with the red pill is that there's people who would be they would be considered, oh, that person's pretty red pilled. That's a reference. That's something we say to one another, say on Twitter, on, different things. And, but this isn't something that I don't think they like that reference. I think there's that really is something that they're a little uncomfortable with because they're like, wait, no, I'm not in the matrix. They don't want to like go there really, and they're not really getting like no, but that's the issue. You guys keep getting outflanked, so we're obviously someplace, but you can't get to us. And I really think this is actually in no way, shape, or form is this something that happens at a conscious level. I think, like Styx Hexenhammer, like Tarl puts out there, this is mimetic. This is something that is always kind of running because there's people who hate read Matt Forney. They hate read Aureni. They hate read Return of Kings. They're sitting there, oh, Roosh, you're aging so well, fuck you, and they just hate him, and people are like, oh, the Milo scares me, and it's like you that scares you. I could tell you some things that'll scare you. I could show you some websites that have stories in places that have hot running water at night, and you would be fucking terrified to be there. And then it hit me. That's the red pill world. We're the ones who are aware of what's happening in Ukraine on the streets of Kiev. We know that men are trying to get into the neighboring countries, and that's why those countries had set up border fences in the first place, is because so many men from Ukraine were trying to leave because they knew they were going to be conscripted to fight against other former Ukrainians who had escaped over into Russia. Um, that we're the ones who are, following like the developments in Poland with this weird Catholic nationalist movement that won't allow Muslims to move into Poland, but now they're armed to the teeth with weapons we have provided them, and that without our troops there, that we have no idea what might fucking happen. And that, thank God, Trump has suddenly said, oh, no, 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 I don't know about this NATO thing, because now these people who are within shelling distance, they could shell St. Petersburg in violation of every treaty we've ever made with Russia, that he has literally suddenly said, whoa, hold up, not sure about this. Everybody, hold on. I'll call you if we take a break, take 5, uh, oh, god damn. That's, people have no idea. People have no fucking clue. They're dumbasses who just fear things because they're dumbasses, and they're in the matrix, and they can't talk about the red pill world because they can't keep up with it. They have no capacity to. They can't keep up on Katahan Institute. They can't keep up on the Center for Syncretic Studies. They don't read Alternative Right blog. They don't have any idea about Alexander Dugin's fourth political theory. They have no idea that there is a party called the Third Way. Third Way position? No, they have no idea about the various types of white and black nationalist organizations that exist in the different types of movements. From super gay Nazi Uhuru guy to the Sonnetter bunch, and Polite, and then the people who are like Tommy Sotomayor, where they're red pilled, they're not really a traditionalist, but they understand. No, 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 no. If we don't go back to the old fashioned way in some way, shape, or form, all of us are fucking doomed, and the Republic's doomed. Now he's finally just said it, like, no, no, no. And all these people in masks who are starting shit up in all these cities and then leaving, fuck you guys. And that's what needed to happen. Because now I think that there's I'm betting there's a lot of these K conscious people who they don't like this shit either. That they are very aware of the origins of a lot of this of the old anarchist and communist organizations, and that I think that probably in the long run this shit is going to just fizzle, because there's going to be people who are going to say, no, 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 this is going to be an endless fucking riot. You guys are not building anything, and the point of a lot of these conscious people is to build. That's why the El Rukns were called a cornerstone. Feel me. And so the red pill world is now truly alive. These people can't stay in the blue pill world. They can't do it. They now, those nerds, those unpleasant people who could do all the metrics, these men who want to speak with a deep voice, stand up straight, and they know what the fuck they're saying. They know about that subject. And so when they tell you about it, you should fucking listen, because they took the time to tell you what they know. They could have hidden it from you and just known you were a dumbass who didn't know shit. And more, that is going to become more and more normal, because there's a whole bunch of people in Europe that this is actually how they live. And they're really starting to understand, like, oh my God, no. The Americans are like cucked out. Half the British are just cucked out and on fucking drugs. Fucking who knows what the fuck's going on in Belgium. Like, they're starting to figure out, like, they're like, whoa, wait. I'm seeing more and more chicks with really goofy haircuts going on here. This is no, none of this shit. No. We're not getting cucked out here. And that's a good thing. The European nationalist movements have to start making it understood there is a thing that is culture. You should have pride in it. It is the collected wisdom of your people, and that there is not some greater system of wisdom and some special knowledge that a bureau from the EU or the bureau from some global educational foundation is supposed to inform your children of, that you won't until it's too late. Fuck that. The red pill world is now the real world. And a lot of these motherfuckers are getting, this is that moment they woke up like Neo. And they're like, what the fuck? Like, blah, and blah, pulling the tube out, blah, and so now I'm starting to really kind of consider people like Sargon are good because they could kind of ease some of these people into it. But after this weekend and after all that, I'm like, oh no. These people they realize that steak was tofu. They realize it was seitan. And they want to go back and they want to be a fucking copper top. They want to go back in that fucking matrix. They will do anything it takes to go back in that matrix. They want to go back to the endless rave. They know 90s forever. The early 2000s for the rest of time until the sun swallows us. Whatevs. And of course, those of us in the red pill understand, it was never real. And we've been down that road. We know where it leads. We don't want to go there. And that's the beautiful part now. Now, the right, the red-pilled people, the manosphere, all of us, though, have to start learning some serious kung fu. Especially you young folks, take on the time to do a lot of the educational stuff that's free here on YouTube. Monkeynomics on Turd Flinging Monkey. Aaron Clary's channel. Captain Capitalism on Blogspot is his blog. Bernard Chapin has fantastic recommendations on Chapin's Inferno of books. He's a person who can ease a lot of people into a good red pill thinking about the way things work in the world. And especially he has an amazing historical perspective, and his book recommendations are top notch. Then there's all sorts of things like odd institutions, Hoover Institute, Mises Institute. Those are always good because of all of the various speakers. One of the best people I could ever recommend checking out is a man named Jeffrey Tucker. He wears a bow tie. That'll pretty much, and he's happy. He's a happy man in a bow tie. You look up Jeffrey Tucker, and libertarian, and he's just has these talks where he makes so much about the libertarian free enterprise, like really red pill way of understanding the world and economics, and just he takes normal shit you have happen every day and puts it together, and you suddenly see it so much more clearly, and it's hilarious. He is just this delightful speaker. It's probably, from what I understand, very good family man. I guess he has a kid or two. Those would be easy places to just kind of start. There's harder ones that are a part of the red pill world, and this is the stuff that really makes red pill what it is. The greatest story never told. The transfer agreement. The Vendee Massacre and Anne Barnhardt's presentation on the Vendee Massacre. That's a rough one. That's tough to handle. Colin Flaherty's White Girl Bleed a Lot and Don't Make the Black Kids Angry. That's rough stuff. Richard Gladden. Those are harder to handle. Libertarian realist. But a lot of these people, they're going to have to start getting used to this. And I know I don't have to agree with all these people who are red-pilled. I just have to respect they know what they know. They've taken the time to tell me. They could have made those videos private and only available to people who paid them money. But sure enough, they didn't, because they wanted people to understand what they were about. They wanted the world to interpret their ideas the way they want the world to see their ideas put together, hear their words put together, or ideas put together. And that is going to be the new future. And a lot of these people in the press, a lot of these academics, and so many people have nothing other than that. And it really is that kind of thing. A lot of people who are red-pilled, we get cynical about this because we don't remember that's all they have. It's all they have. They have no past. I thought about this. Once you take the red pill, you really are like, oh my God, what the fuck is up with oh my gosh, nothing's gotten better. Everything now, every shadow is more clearly shadow. But then, as Turdfling Monkey got into, as MGTOW, Red Pill, Black Pills, all these various, the Dark Enlightenment essays by the Mencius Moldbug, all these different people, as it all sinks in, you accept what reality is, what the real world is. Suddenly the brightness can come out of it. What little we truly have as a species, our family, our friends, the people around us who are alive, that every day we get to see them, and we all do this correspondence and this thing that is only possible in America, only for this infinitesimally small sliver of human time. And that's when the brightness really comes through. And it's liberating, because it's real brightness. It's the real sun. It's the real thing. And then you feel bad for those suckers. You people don't know. You sort of catch a glimpse on it when you guys, like, you go hiking, or you're out in the, oh, I'm finally out of civilization. You can't really, you don't know what you're even seeing when you see civilization. You're still thinking somewhere there's a white penis. There's a white penis ready to get you. He's gonna grab you by the cat. Meow. And gotcha, bitch. And no. It's all a part of your fantasy of what reality is. The red pill world is something that you can't even mention. Jezebel and Huffington Post and Vox.com. You can't really honestly discuss it. The world of real econometrics, zero hedge, and all those graphs, all that science, using the real research papers that analyze how the brain works differently in different groups of people and different genders, the only two that exist, and it fucks with you, because you're like, oh, these people and their ability to cite real decent sources. I like a third tertiary source like Vox, like Science Weekly, like liberalpinkoscience.com, the ice caps are melting.com or .org. And so now the beautiful part is it's just going to be watching them vomit and crap their pants all the time as the effects of not being in the Matrix kick in. And then eventually, of course, there's going to be the whole demographic thing, as everybody's parents start to die. I've already buried my family, so I've dealt with that, but that's coming. Whoo-hoo! That one is going to hit like a truck when it hits. Yeah, so that was just thinking about the red pill. It's still on YouTube. We know who we all are, but nobody really wants to talk Pepe, oh, white supremacists, oh, the Richard Spencer, oh, but no one wants to talk about that they are still in the Matrix. They know it's not real, but it tastes like steak.